Hello folks, my name is Sir Dancelot. I am a dancer, stroke stripper and dance teacher. The reason I'm coming to you today is when I do my strip acts, I get asked two usual questions and I'm going to address those questions. But before I go any further, I would like to warn parents, this is your parents' guidance warning now, right? If you have any children running around in the background or anything like that, I would advise you to either wait till they go to bed before you watch the rest of this, or switch it off or whatever, because the subject is very much adult material, and you may be answering some very awkward questions later if you allow your kids to listen in on what I'm about to say. Okay, now, when it comes to the stripping side of things now, I'm not what I'd be classed as a sexy, erotic, take yourself seriously sort of stripper. My performance is more comedy based. I have a very strong comedy overtone. If you take the time to look at my YouTube video called One Funky Grandad Old School Boogie, that video is a shot of my 3 comedy street dance videos. So you'll get a rough idea of the sort of performance that I do. It's very comedy dance based. So that is that. So I'll give you a rough idea what I'm about. Okay. Now coming to these 2 questions. The 2 questions I normally get asked by a lot of women when I work as a stripper. Question number 1: is it real? I'll repeat that question again. Question number 1: is it real? Referring to it is the penis, my penis. Is it real? Now, I've been doing this for about 10 years now, okay? And yes, I haven't made my millions, unfortunately. Anyway, in the 10 years, today is Saturday, the 7th of May, 2011, location London, England. And in those 10 years, I've never heard or known of any shop, supermarket, mall if you're in America, that sells a false penis, a false stick-on penis. So obviously, you know, if you know something that I don't, could you please leave the details on your comments of where I can buy a false penis and stick it on? Because not only just me, but believe me, a lot of us guys would like to know that information, where you can buy a false penis and stick it on yourself, okay? So, regards to the question, is my penis real? Okay? Right, so that's question number 1. Question number 2. Now, question number 2 kind of surprised me, because it's not like an inexperienced teenage girl or girl maybe in the early 20s is asking me this question. This question tends to come from women who are in their 30s, sometimes in their 40s, you know, who's got children, and you would think by now they would have a rough idea of what makes a man aroused. What being that they've been married and have boyfriends and stuff by now, you would think by the time they get to the 30s they know what turns us guys on, you know, in respect of knowing the guy first. Okay, so question number 2 is, when you do the full strip and take all your clothes off, doesn't your penis go hard? Does your penis go hard when you take all your clothes off in front of fully clothed women who you don't know, who are just staring at you? Does it go hard? Why would my penis go hard? I haven't had the answer to this question yet. Right. For the benefit of those who don't know, I'll explain it from a man's point of view, okay? Right. We get turned on visually. We're not stimulated mentally. There is one situation I could think of where a man gets stimulated mentally, but in the main, we of visual. We need to see. We need to touch. We need to be touched. So taking your clothes off in front of fully clothed women who you don't know, they're not coming onto you, they're staring at you or they're cheering away, from a man's point of view, is not a turn on at all. There's no turn on in that for us, not whatsoever. They got their clothes on. Maybe if they were taking their clothes off as well, yes, a man's penis would go hard in that situation. If the woman decided to jerk him off, or we say over here in the UK, give him a wank, yeah, he will go hard. Of course, if she were to put it in her mouth, it would definitely go hard. Possibly, if a man's doing a performance in a house party, and the girl offers him sex straight afterwards, maybe will go hard then. But there's no way a man's penis is going to go hard for a strange woman with her clothes on. I don't care how fit you are, don't care how fine you look, don't care how pretty you are, don't care how sexy you dress, he's not going to get a hard on. And unless he's touching your private parts and you're allowing him to do so. And he'll get aroused that way. Like I said, the 3 rules: we need to touch, we need to be touched, and we need to see. I will come to this one situation where a man gets turned on mentally, but I will come to that. So, according to what I've learned from a close female friend of mine and what I've read in books, that women get turned on mentally, and they desire to be desired. So when a guy desires them, they get turned on, but we don't get turned on that way. It's totally different for us. So hence why you get a lot of women sometimes, they go out to nightclubs with no intention of meeting a guy. They dress up really nice and everything, and for them it's the attention they crave. They like to be desired by men coming onto them and so forth, getting attention, and that's good stimulation for them, even though they have no intention of meeting a guy. And you get the other sort who goes on free dating websites. Again, they have no intention of meeting a guy, even though they pretend that they're interested in meeting someone, but really they're on there just to receive loads of emails and get stimulated by having all these admirers chasing them online. So according to what I've learned from a female, is women desire to be desired. With us men, it's completely different. Now, coming to the situation, I said there is one situation that I can think of where a man would get stimulated. Well, maybe 2 situations. One, I think back to the stand-up, the Chris Rock, the stand-up comedian. He had a sketch in his show, and he said, women cannot go back materially, and men cannot go back sexually. And he had a point there. I will break it down like this. If a woman's been used to going on a date with her boyfriend or whatever in his car, taken out to rest and so forth, she cannot go back. Well, she finds it difficult to go back to a guy who doesn't have a car. She has to catch a taxi or a cab or a tube or a bus or whatever from A to B. But with us men, it's sexually. So in other words, if a man's been used to a lazy lover who lays on her back, she doesn't touch him, she doesn't make the first move ever, and worst of all, she always demands to have the lights off, right? And he's gotten used to that. And then after her, he meets a woman who dresses in sexy underwear, loves to experiment, tries different positions. She knows how to work his body. She touches him orally and with her hands and everything. And she doesn't mind posing for photographs and stuff like that. And then he finishes with her, right? Or she finishes with him, whatever. He cannot go back to the lazy lover. Now, if he does get to lazy lover after the hot X, this is where he'll get turned on mentally. While he's doing the lazy lover, who's just laying on her back, looking at the ceiling, thinking of England, he's looking down at her, but he's not seeing her. He's thinking back to the hot X. that knew when to touch him, how to touch him, what to wear, what position to do. So he's actually making love or having sex with his ex, while lazy lover that's a trade secret. You know, I'm sure women do it also. I'm sure women do it. I'm sure it's the same for women the other way around. But that is the only way I know a guy gets stimulated mentally, or if he's thinking again of the hot ex that used to do all the things he liked, and he may be thinking about her, and then he gets a harden thinking about her. That's the only situation I can think of where a man would get a harden. So I hope this has been of some help for the benefit of those of you that didn't know this. And I hope I'm not coming over patronizing, because that is not the intention of this video at all. You know, my purpose is to inform and also to be informed. Learning is a two-way thing. So folks, from Sir Dance a Lot, I'd like to bid you all a good day, and what can I say? Thanks for listening. Bye.